Hello everyone, how you doing? Welcome back to the channel, and by now you will have all probably seen Dovetail Direct this afternoon, or certainly you would have heard via the forums or other streamers, other ambassadors, other people in the Train Sim World community about Train Sim World 4. So finally we can talk about it. It's all been revealed, and we're going to get into it and just have a quick look at what is in the what is in Train Sim World 4 on release, and we're going to go through the article on the trainsimworld.com website to do that. But just before we do get in, I just want to go over to my channel and just show you that on the community tab I am currently running a poll, which is quite interesting at the moment, where I've said finally I can talk about Train Sim World 4 coming 26th of September 2023, unless you've got early access, of course. What do you think? Now, there's a chance to vote on here, so I would encourage you to go over to the channel. If you're watching this, you're on the channel page anyway. Just go over to the community post, give it a vote, drop me a comment under there as well. A lot of you already have. Good thing is, so far, nobody's on the fence. There's 18 votes, nobody's on the fence. But forget the TSW4 reveal, Preston is coming to the game. That's the other news that I didn't know about. Well, not officially. I've read the rumours like you guys, but I didn't know about it until today. So that was a nice surprise, right at the end of the presentation today for Dovetail Direct. So do go over, do give that a little look, and put your vote in. But yeah, Train Sim World 4. I'll preface this as well by saying, as many of you are aware, as part of the Train Sim community, I was invited down to Dovetail's offices last week. I went down to a 2-day event where Train Sim World 4 was first revealed to me and everybody else that was there. And not only that, we got to play it as well. It was a build version. It wasn't the complete version, but I did get to drive all 3 routes, plus the Scotsman and the Vectron as well. So it was quite nice. I had a good couple of hours over a couple of sessions to play it, and I know you've not seen any gameplay as yet. Well, you saw little clips, didn't you? But it is good. It is good, and I think you'll be very pleased with the Austrian route as well, because some of the scenery in there looks absolutely brilliant. But you'll see that over the coming weeks in the preview stream. So let's talk about it. We'll go through the routes, I think, before we go through the features, because it's the routes to me that are the most interesting. So the first one, as mentioned, was the Austrian route. This is the S-Bahn Vorarlberg, and this is Lindau to Bludenz, and it's in Austria and Germany, although predominantly it is in Austria. And it says, introducing Austria, it's a new country, of course. A new country in Train Sim World. Take control of the busy S-Bahn in Germany before crossing the border and into the foothills of the Austrian Alps with OBB's 4024 Talent EMU. Serve communities settled among stunning scenery with one of Europe's most celebrated rail operators. And if we click into it, here's some of the scenery. This doesn't really do it justice. I will just say that now, it doesn't. When you see these mountains in game, I think you're going to be blown away. We're not talking about the mountains from the Arosa line. This is just wait till you see it. That's all I'll say. I think you'll be pleasantly surprised with that. We got some screenshots. Let's just flick through these. I think pretty much you saw most of these in the actual presentation itself. Go over to Dovetail's channel if you haven't seen the Dovetail Direct. It's a good couple of hours and worth watching, and maybe worth watching again actually if you didn't take it all in the first time. But let's have a look at some of the stats for this route. This is the first Austrian route in Train Sim World. It's got a mountainous backdrop with breathtaking scenery, as I just mentioned, variety of service patterns across 2 countries, Germany and Austria. So it's a total of 44 miles or 70 kilometres, 28 train stations. That's a fair few. This is the first OBB train, and it is the 4024 EMU, and it drives really nicely, I will say that. Here is the route map itself, showing the aforementioned 28 stations. So if you are already familiar with this route, hopefully this is something that you are quite excited about, especially the fact that Austria is now in the game as well. So that is the Vorarlberg. Let's go back and we'll take a look at the next route. If I can find it again, there it is, East Coast Mainline. So a lot of people have been waiting for this one, haven't they? So this is the East Coast Mainline, and in particular the Peterborough to Doncaster section, and it says speed along the East Coast Mainline through the celebrated landmark of Stoke Bank, where both steam and electric locomotives have broken world records in decades gone by. LNER's Class 801 Azuma continues to pass through this iconic railway location on its way to Doncaster, where the Flying Scotsman was built 100 years ago. Now, the Azuma as well is very, very nicely modelled, and I would say most of the ambassadors and most of the train sim community that were at the Dovetail event went straight for the East Coast Mainline. I'm gonna stake something on that. If they're watching this, they can argue with me, but I think a lot of people went straight for this one. This was one that everybody was quite interested in. A few of the screenshots. Of course, there will be again a separate preview stream for this one. But it looks great. The lighting's really good. The Azuma itself is nice, and it's strange because only just recently did I drive the Azuma for the first time in TS Classic, and then a week later I'm driving the TSW version, which was a nice added bonus. So let's have a look at the quick facts for the East Coast Mainline Peterborough Doncaster. It's a long high-speed mainline. It's the UK's longest end-to-end route, and it features the only flat crossing left on the UK network. There's a wide variety in timetable, lots of stopping patterns with additional layers for those who own the Class 700, which was recently released, and then also the Midland Mainline Class 158, that will also appear on this. 5 train stations, so one at each end and 3 intermediate stops. It's a total of 80 miles, which is 128 kilometres, so you know I love a good run. And this one's going to give me a really good run at high speed. Here is the map. You can see the route end to end there across this east side of the UK. And of course it features the iconic high speed LNER Azuma. So I know lots of people are excited about this one. This is the actual map in detail itself. You can see Peterborough down here at the bottom end. We've also got Grantham, Newark, Northgate, Retford and Doncaster up at the top. So if we go back, we'll just take a quick look at the final route, which is in the US, and this is the Antelope Valley Line, Los Angeles to Lancaster, USA. Run to the hills and thread through California's canyons along the Antelope Valley Line. Emerge from the inner city Los Angeles with Metrolink's powerful American diesel traction, the EMD F125, hauling twinned Rotom commuter cars through to Lancaster. Now this one, I didn't know how I would feel about this one. I didn't know whether it would be like a peninsular corridor, but it drives and feels completely different. And once again, the scenery of this one is stunning, honestly. I spent the most time on the East Coast Mainline route, but when I switched to the Antelope Valley, especially with the new HUD, which I know you've not seen much of yet, but I was running in the expert mode, so there was less clutter on the screen, and you know I was relying more on the dials and the desk, the driver's desk. It was a really great experience. But we'll have a look a little bit more. I mean, look at the scenery there. Again, this picture doesn't really make it doesn't do it justice. You need to see it in the game. We'll have a look through the screenshots. But this is a really nice local. And the livery's great. The livery really is great. So I hope a lot of you are excited for this one, especially the US players that already know this line. Let's have a look at the quick facts. This is another new brand, of course, Metrolink. Antelope Valley line, it's another long one. We're getting longer routes, aren't we? 76.5 miles, which is 123 kilometres. 13 train stations, and it has the F125 locomotive with Rotem cars. So traverse the hustle and bustle of Los Angeles City and the canyons of northern LA County. So there is this transition between the city and the more rural areas. It's kind of part desert. It's just great. I love it. I know I'm slightly biased, but honestly, it's difficult. From the Dovetail Direct, it's difficult to appreciate just how nice all these three routes looked. So I'm pleased that there's going to be separate previews for each of these, so you can see them. You can spend some time concentrating on each route in turn, rather than just showing little bits of each one. I think that will be the best way to see it. So it features Vista Canyon Station, which is set to open imminently. So it isn't open right now. But it is about to open, so rather than bring the route out and then, it just wouldn't look right, would it? In a few months' time, DTG have actually put in Vista Canyon Station, which is quite nice. There's a combination of passenger stops and challenging gradients. Peninsula Corridor meets Cajon Pass. There you go. That's where it says, and that's what I was trying to tell you. There is a good mix of both in this. This is the route map. So we've got Lancaster at one end, Palmdale, Vincent Grade. We've got quite a stretch coming down to Vista Canyon, which is the new station we just talked about. And we work our way all the way up Glendale, LA Union Station over on the right hand side here. So of the three routes, I think there's quite a lot to look forward to there personally. We'll have a very quick look through some of the other stuff that was announced today. So free roam, so you can just spawn in whatever you want to do, set your own path, perform your own tasks, and have the AI take over should you wish. So if you want to just jump in and do something quick, you can go into free roam. Photo mode, I did have a play with this as well. I think this is going to make for some excellent screenshot competitions. It really is, because the amount of control now you've got over the photo mode, and I'm sure they're going to show a lot more of this in the coming weeks, is brilliant. And the fact that you can pause it now and you can zoom around a bit TS Classic like, really, and take that screenshot that you always wanted to take, and have the time to take it rather than trying to just capture it as the train sort of flies by. That's going to be really useful for a lot of people, including creators like me who want to take a good screenshot to use as a background for a thumbnail. Creators Club, we've got a livery designer and scenario planner both upgraded. I think there was quite a good overview of that today on the Dovetail Direct, so I won't go into that too much. But one of the things about that is that I know a lot of people will be looking forward to is if you upload something to Creators Club and subsequently make a change to that livery, for example, the new livery can get picked up by everybody, I think, without downloading it again. I think it just automatically will update the version that you've got. So that's quite nice, isn't it? Because I know there's been a lot of problems with that. What other bits and pieces will it tell us about on here? Oh, release-wise, there is, of course, the Deluxe Edition, which includes the three routes, plus the Flying Scotsman, and plus the Vectron. The Vectron is going to be running on Dresden Riesa, and for anybody that owns Dresden Riesa from TSW3, that route is going to be upgraded with the new lighting, and you will get that upgraded route for free because you already own it. There is some enhanced features, of course. Ease of access, There's simplified HUDs. There's player assists. You can have a beginner set of player assists, or you can go right up to expert. And also one thing that I always thought would have been a good idea and is now put in, you're going to get more action points for how you drive the train, and things like turning the windscreen wipers on at the correct time, having the correct lights on, using PZB, using any of the safety systems actually. And if you run that, you have a chance to get up to a new medal, which is platinum. We always had bronze, silver and gold. There is a new one, which is platinum. So that'll be good, because I know a lot of you out there do try to get a gold, don't you, on every service and every scenario that you do. So you've got an additional one though. Compatible content, everything you already own is coming over, which is quite nice, which is what you would expect. Graphical improvements, rain effects were spoken about in the presentation. We've also mentioned the photo mode, and also the overhead line equipment rendering has been improved as well. So hopefully it isn't gonna flash anymore and basically look a bit naff. It's gonna look look quite nice, isn't it? There's various bundles available, and I would encourage you just to come back to trainsimworld.com and just have a look at these, just to see which one you're interested in. The pricing is also mentioned, so there's a deluxe special edition and a standard edition, and it will tell you here what you get with that. So take a look at that, see what it is you want to order. And one of the big things that a lot of people weren't expecting was, of course, the editor. It's been a bit of a bone of contention, hasn't it, for quite some time, and I think DTG kind of poked at that, didn't they, at the beginning of the presentation with Matt talking in retrospect and turning his original video where he said it was quite close to release, turning that black and white, and sort of acknowledging the fact that they did originally say it would be coming out quite soon, and then it didn't, and a lot of players got upset about that, didn't they? Well, here is the PC editor, and as Matt said in the presentation, the set of tools that is coming out are very, very close to the ones that DTG actually use themselves. So I know there's a lot of clever people out there that are going to take that editor and they're going to make some quite nice routes, aren't they, or extensions. And I think initially those routes that people make will be available for PC, but they did say in the presentation that at a later date they want to make those available to the console players. So there won't be an editor on console. I think we kind of already knew that, didn't we, right from the beginning? And that was possibly one of the reasons why he didn't release straight away, because you'd have one half of the camp that were over the moon, you'd have another half that weren't so pleased that they weren't able to get it. It could be that they've worked out some way to get whatever's built in the editor over to consoles, but it may need some work. I don't know, I'm just surmising. That could be one reason they're releasing it now. It is in beta. And that, in a nutshell, is what I wanted to talk about. The other thing that came up right at the end was also a discussion about the new Just Trains route, which you guys know if you've been following the channel. I'm super excited about. So this is Blackpool to Preston and Ormskirk, and we're going to get some more information on that quite soon. Somebody sent me a link to the Just Trains dev blog, which I haven't got up here yet. I need to read that in some more depth, but what I might do is just put a little video together just on that. There are some screenshots, including screenshots of Preston Station. This route from Blackpool through Preston up to Ormskirk I know quite well, because when I did work on the railway, that was one of the routes that I actually worked on board the train, so I do know that quite well. So me personally, I'm super stoked for that one, and I can't wait for that to come out. And I think on the roadmap stream we're getting this week, I think a timeline's been put to that. I did see a slide today at the NJD showed a slide. I think it said within 1 to 2 months, so it's obviously quite close. So I think yeah, I'm going to be showing a lot of that once that one comes out. But don't forget, I want to know what you guys think. Go back to the poll there on the website, on the YouTube, and just leave me a vote at the bottom and leave me a comment. So far, TSW4 is not for me is winning from that 18 votes. I don't know about that one. I think that will change. I think that will change. Once this information from today, there's been a lot of information. Once it sinks in, I think people will, players will appreciate what TSW4 is all about. I think, and that I think will change. So, by all means, go back, have a look at Dovetail Direct again. There's a couple of streams coming up this week as well on Dovetail's channels. Go and watch those. But do leave me a vote there, and let me know what you initially think. Is there anybody that's on the fence? I don't know. And by the way, say hello to Megasim. I saw Megasim last week. There we are with our Train Sim World 4 t-shirts on. Which we weren't allowed to show until today. You saw the guys on the Dovetail Direct wearing those as well. And of course, if you did miss it, there's me with Matt. Great bloke, and he was available for questions, and he gave us the demo while we were there. But again, as I said, more about this visit. There's the British Ace. More about this visit in a future video. I did take some footage whilst I was down there about the trip down there to Chatham from Preston, so I will put that out in a future video. So that is it for this little video. Thank you for watching. I know there's a lot of content out there tonight about TSW4. I thought I'd just summarise it, do a quick roundup. Do let me know what you think. Thanks for watching. I'll see you on the next one. Bye for now.